I had a dream from the Lord last night, and I want to make it brief. I really tried to. I wrote it down so I could cut out all the explaining and everything, but it's still not brief because it was fairly detailed, but I'm going to make it as brief as I can. Every time I write these down, I end up not looking at it. So I'm going to, and just going on and on, so I'm going to do my best to just read it and not stop. In this dream, I was traveling, but had stopped, I guess, because the ground started moving this way and that, and then started sliding away. I noted the angles and determined where the ground seemed to be stable and began telling people to stand in the place so that they would not sink. Most would not listen, and I only remember one person standing in that spot with me. Next, I was somewhere and was warning someone, but I don't know where it was. There were two big men at this house. I already lost my spot. There were two big... I'm just going to end up talking. There were two big guys at this house. And I was trying to tell them they needed to get out of the house. Okay, I'm already off of my writing it down over there. I was trying to warn them that the ground was sinking and they needed to get out of the house, because if they didn't get out of the house, that there was no way that they were going to be able to get out once the house sank down below the ground, and at least if they were outside of the house, they would have a chance to run this way or that to get away from it. Well, while I was in there trying to explain to them, they didn't believe me. The ground began to fall away. We felt a rumble. We went, looked out the window, and we saw the ground crumbling away in the distance, about 100 yards away. So me and this one big fella started scrambling to get away from that area to the other side of the house and then get out that door. Well, while we were doing this, the other big fella put his hand on me and was like kind of holding me. He was pushing down. He wasn't holding me, like grabbing me, but he was pushing me and kind of, weighting me down where I couldn't try to get out. And I just shoved him off and said, "Get off of me. I'm not going down." And I told him, if you won't get out of this house, you're not going to stand a chance. So I don't know what happened to him from there. So me and this other big fella, we make it out of the house. And the next scene is he's leaving to go help people from where this had already happened. And I went, the sinking stopped and the house was leaning, but it was stabilized for the moment. So when he went off to help people, I thought about provisions. So I went inside the house and I got I'm totally not reading this now. I'm just going to try to tell you, and without going too far off course here. I went into the house and I grabbed 2 garbage bags. And I went into the first refrigerator, and when I opened the refrigerator, there was nothing in it but like some condiments and stuff like that. I was like, well, better than nothing. So I start throwing them in the garbage bag. But I needed to find some food, some actual food. So I was looking around and I saw another refrigerator. When I opened the refrigerator, there were a bunch of cellophane packages in there, and I guess they were about as big as like one of those wooden ducks. It's pretty large, and but I don't know what they were. I don't know. I want to say swans, but they've been little replicas. But what they were is there were just bunches of them everywhere, and they were wrapped in cellophane, and it was blue pastels. It's chocolate. It was like white chocolate or something. It was blue pastel, and then there was white, and there was 2 different sets. Here comes the helicopter. A military jet just came through. I want to see what this is here. I don't know if that showed up. Anyway, so I just want to say I knew I was going to get straight off. We had another military jet come through a minute ago, and as I was making a video, starting this video, one of those jets came through, and it was a lot smaller than those 2 big cargo Army planes that came in. This one was that other one was like a really deep loud hum going through, which is what took me outside to see it. And there were two of them. I never saw a third one, not to say that it didn't come, just to say that I take care of people here, and I was probably busy. Don't know if there was another one or not, but those were huge, huge, huge potbelly planes. And this, even though it looked like the belly was large enough for cargo, it was a much smaller Army plane headed towards Mobile International. Okay, back to the dream. Where was I? So I opened this second fridge, and there's all these cellophane packages in there. So when I opened it, I'm saying, wait a minute, I just saw these, but I couldn't have seen these because I've never been to this place before. And then the Lord reminded me, He told me, these are the dreams that you've been having lately that you haven't been able to remember. Because I had about a month there where I didn't remember the dreams at all. And then in this last week or so, I've been having dreams that I knew were important, but I could not remember the details of them when I got up. I couldn't remember what was going on. But anyway, so I'm in this dream, and I open this refrigerator, and I see all these cellophane packages. And He lets me know, well, this is what you haven't been able to remember, and I'm showing it to you so you'll know now. And I'd had two other dreams with these cellophane, comes another helicopter, with these cellophane packages in them. And He also let me know that they were part of a place. Really? Helicopters, really? They were part of a place setting. I am definitely going to look up the colors on that and see what it's about. Okay, so he did let me know that they were place settings. They were going to go at the tables. Oh, it's hot out here. For the wedding. A wedding. He didn't say the wedding, but I understood in my dream because he had just told me that these are from the other dreams, and that's why you remember them. And I'm showing them to you now, and it was my third one. The one in this dream here today, it was the third time I had seen those, and I knew that while I was in this dream at that moment. Here, I want to stray here. Oh yeah, in my dream, I knew I was going to leave stuff out if I didn't write it down. In my dream, I felt like I was in Louisiana. And I don't know why. I'm right next to Louisiana where the New Madrid's fixing to crack open, and then we're all going to be either sunk or waved out of the way with a tidal wave, tsunami type. But in my dream, I felt like that's where I was, and I don't know why. I do a lot of traveling, but I don't go through Louisiana to do it. It's east to me. It's west of me, and I usually go east and then up, or then up and then, depending on where I'm going. I usually go through Mississippi and Alabama, Tennessee, that type of stuff, depending on where I'm going. I'm definitely past that part. I'm just going to continue on without reading this because oh, here comes another one. Oh, that's a jet. Let's see if I can get a picture of that this time. Oh, yeah! I don't know if that came up on camera, and I couldn't switch it around quick enough to the other side. Those were two military jets in formation. I don't know where the third one is. Okay, this is definitely not going to go quick. I knew this was going to happen if I didn't just read it off of what I wrote. Okay, let me plug my phone back up. Working on it here. Don't look at my wrinkles. I am 50. I'm allowed to have wrinkles. Okay. Back to where I was doing. Okay, so here comes some more jets. I can hear them. They're busy today. Anyway, so the Lord shows me that part about the pastel blue and the white, and their different place settings for different people. Wow, that was close. And when I woke up and I prayed about it, right over our house. Wow. Oh my gosh, that's huge. I am so going to go find out what those are. I got to type in the colors and see if I can figure it out. That thing was huge. That was it was not a gray military type, but it was huge with red and white. Okay, maybe I can got it on camera and I can blow it up. Okay, so I leave the house with these bags, and I'm touching the ground, trying to decide what's soft or not, and I see the ground's getting a little firmer and it's going up this hill. So I start going up this hill, and at the top of this hill, it seems to me that this house used to be the house that these people down the hill lived in, but up on the top of the hill is this house. Now it's burned out, but my vision zoomed back, and I saw it. It was a large house, upstairs, downstairs, and no, I didn't go upstairs. But I'm looking for a place to put this food so that it will be safe, so that I can come back to it and bring other people back to it, and we can eat, because I know what's coming on from here. So, but I'm trying to find a place to put this food, and I see, and I was looking around going, well, all the beams and all the joists are here, but it looks kind of like the house caught on fire, and it didn't make sense. And I got a vision from the side of the house, from some little distance away, of the house itself, and what I saw was some clean, neat 2x4s, and the whole structure of the house was there. And it had some charred, a little bit of char that had fallen onto it, like maybe a curtain that had wrapped around it, but there was none of the wood was burned. I think that's the point I'm trying to make. This whole house had been charred, but the whole foundation and the structure was still intact and not even singed, burnt at all. Okay, that's significant for a lot of reasons. I won't explain my significance for it, but I see it as trial by fire sort of thing. It was what he was showing me. Everything else being burned up, but the foundation, not. So it might be significant for somebody, so I'm just going to tell you the little details. Suddenly, for some reason, while I'm in this structure, trying to find a place safe for these bags of food, there is a girl and a guy there, and they said I don't know what the girl was doing. She was like, I don't know. She seemed non-concerned about anything that was going on. But this guy was following me around trying to tell me where to put the food. And I was trying to explain to him no, and I put my foot on the ground, and I was like, no, do you see how soft it is here? I said, this is going to go. This is going to go. I've got to find a safer place to put it. And I guess on the outside of the house, up towards the higher part of the hill, I found some firm ground, and that's where I left it. So I go off. I forgot. I got to be real careful about this, because the Lord has shown me stuff in dreams that was fixing to happen. He's given me warning dreams, and in those warning dreams, I was about to have a carport sale or about to do a certain thing, which is also in my dream. And I have to be very careful not to assume and say that I know this is fixing to happen because this is what he showed me in my dream, because apparently, it could be, I found out that I've had, it could be other things, not necessarily this year. I do a lot of traveling, so I go back and forth from Memphis every year, and Lexington, Kentucky, and some other places. So it could be any one of those times. But having said that, before I left that house, and I forgot I left this out, and that's why I wrote it down, and I should be reading it off there, but y'all bear with me, okay? Before I left that house, and before I went up to the hill, and about the time right before I started looking for the food, I thought to myself, well, this is happening. And I knew he had shown me in other dreams where I was actually on the trip, either taking my niece to Memphis or bringing her back, or at least that's what I assumed. I just know I was on my way to Memphis or back. He's shown me Memphis having earthquakes, and me being on my way back, and then ground sinking out, and all that stuff. So he's shown me a lot of stuff that I can put together and say, okay, well, this is going to happen on one of my trips. So I'm going to say, yeah, that's going to happen on one of my trips. But in this particular part, before I started looking for that food, I thought about my niece, and I was like, oh no, I wonder if I will ever see her again. So that's when I decided, and that's when the Lord reminded me of all the other dreams where I'd had either being in Memphis and having an earthquake, but the ground like closing back up and just leaving a crack, rainy, drizzly, chaos, people going crazy. There were the good people, the good godly people like me who had no food and were, homeless, looking, for a place to hide and something to eat. And then there were all the people, very debaucherous. They were out partying, and I'm well acquainted with Beale Street. I was in a band years ago, and we did many shows down there. And that's where this one particular thing took place in Memphis. And when I saw all these people, they were going in and out of the bars, and they were partying and having a good time. So let me backtrack now. So yeah, in my dream, he was showing me, he was reminding me that I was on this trip with Shauna. And I just want to say that on July 9th, I'll be taking her, Bandit, hush, I'll be taking her back to Memphis again, or there, Bandit, hush. I go through Memphis. But I'm actually going to Mississippi, so that area. It's right below Memphis. It's right over the line. So that was the significance of that. And I'm going into a hot flash because I have lung disease. So bear with me. It'll be over in a minute, but I'll be soaking with sweat in a second. So from there, I stash the food up the little mountainous area, and then I leave, and I'm going looking for people to help and people to warm. And I come across this house, and in this house there are two girls. I've got somebody hailing me through the window here. There's two girls and a guy, and this girl and this guy are like in this bedroom playing some video game, which I don't like, by the way. So they're playing this video game, and I'm trying to talk to this one girl, and I'm trying to convince them if they don't leave the house that they may not have a chance to, and trying to tell them what's fixing to happen, okay? So she doesn't want to listen to me, and she refuses to leave the house. So on my way out the door, I stop and I tell her, believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. When you see these things start to happen, you'll know. And believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, and that's the only way that you're going to be saved. And you'll be able to live in eternity with him. And she heard me out, but then she just looked at me and she said, I'm not really interested in that kind of stuff. And I said, okay. So I left. And I'm walking and I'm looking for something to help. And I'm seeing it from a distance, and there's this big circle of mess where the land has like sunk in and sunk around and such. And from the view that I'm getting up above, it almost looked like I want to say a caldera. Is that what that's called? The middle part of a volcano. And I'm not forgetting that the Lord told me a volcano was going to collapse. And at the end of it, he told me it's called dysplasia. But I saw what looked like two big, deep cave-ins. One was in a circle and one was around that circle, and there was like houses caved in and around these. I just got a warning from my video thing, so this might cut off. So I'm seeing that, and then it goes to I'm approaching this farmhouse, I guess, but I'm approaching it, and I see it from a distance, and there's a cow or some type of large farm animal, and then there's this, can we see over here? There's a cow some type of large farm animal, and then there's this guy here, some older guy, and then there's a covered carport. And as I was approaching, I saw the ground open up and take the cow, and it was coning out. It was opening up, and then the cone got up to the guy, and he started sliding down. And then it went to another scene. And when I was writing this down earlier, I had prayed before I wrote it down. But I'm definitely missing something. I'm going to have to go through this, and maybe I'll make another video of it. But I forgot, when I was writing this down, I had forgotten about, it's another helicopter, going through this water. And I knew that this water was from a sinkhole that had formed there. And I was going through this water, but I didn't remember it. So my mom, telling her my dream this morning, and she's like, well, do you want to hear mine? You're not going to like it. And I said, well, yeah. Uh-oh, I'm getting a red flash here. Basically, she had a dream that I was playing around in this lake, and it was really, really low lake. The dock was way up below the water. And she said that I was just messing around in there, and she told me to be careful, and I said, oh, I'm fine. And then a sinkhole formed under me, and I went down in the sinkhole. Well, I don't think I'm going to go down in the sinkhole. I am saved. I might have a house fall on me. I might get buried in some mud, but don't think I'm going to go down in the sinkhole. It's not the way I've seen myself going out. But, you know, could be wrong. I'm pretty sure the wicked are swallowed up. I haven't found anything about good people, godly people being swallowed up live by the earth. So I know I'm safe there, and I consider my mom's spiritual place in mine. So I think that was just a scare tactic from the devil. However, when she told me about that dream, it was then, at that moment, I remembered during my dream this morning, swimming over this deep hole, trying to get to the other side to help somebody. Can't remember the circumstances of why I went in. I just remember trying to get to the other side. Like I said, I did not remember it until she told me about her dream, which is kind of spooky, but I'm okay because I'm good. So I get to the other side. The sinkhole did not open up onto me and swallow me while I was swimming across that thing, because I got to the other side, and I remember thinking, God, I hope the ground doesn't open up under it while I'm in there, and it didn't. So I do remember that part, even though I didn't remember it at first. I'm good with that part. My camera is warning that I'm going to overheat while charging and using my video, so I'm going to shut this off for now, and I'm going to go find out what's up with the helicopters and the military planes, because they are sure coming in, aren't they? All right. God bless. Believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, and you'll be saved. Follow what he says so that the demons cannot attack you. You can be oppressed. You can be possessed. Watch yourself. Pray always. Morning, night. And if you stub your toe and say, oh, Shazam, repent. Okay? Love you guys. God bless. Where's my button? There it is.